Welcome to White Space, the weekly roundup of news from the data centre industry from DCD. Let's start this week with employment news.
Well, it's an odd one. So Amazon, everyone knows Amazon, massive. They spend a lot on data centers. They have a guy, Jerry Hunter, VP of Infrastructure, very important there, behind all their global expansion. Now he's working at Snapchat.
And how many data centers is he managing now? None.
And
Because where does Snapchat keep its data?
if you watch any Google presentation, they'll be very happy to tell you it's them.
On Google Cloud.
Google Cloud, they'll be very happy to say it's them for now, but maybe it's going to be an embarrassing future where Snapchat left. Who knows? Right,
but will they leave to go to Amazon or leave to go to their own in-house data centers?
So he's either a Trojan horse from Amazon to be like, come over, or he's going to build their own, or he's going to be doing something completely different. It's very, very odd. We don't know.
Right.
Okay. Watch.
Yes, but and then Snapchat is, of course, there's going to be an IPO somewhere out there, right?
Yeah,
and they're supposedly valued at $25 billion, which I
or more.
Honestly don't understand.
Yeah, Wall Street Journal puts the IPO, they're aiming for March next year. Maybe 25 billion, and that leaves a nice bit of spare cash to build a data center or two.
Right, and they're about to make these funky glasses, aren't they?
Yes, which we don't really like, but which we think we're gonna end up wearing anyway, because they're just the right size and price to get into the sort of like media goodie bag.
It's true. That's a veiled request, if ever
to make a spectacle of yourself.
Good. Okay, Max, what's been your top news this week?
Yes. So the Node Pole got acquired. The Node Pole that we obviously have reported quite a lot about, but I'm just gonna walk you through it. So the Node Pole is a region in the north of Sweden where they used to have a lot of heavy industry, not anymore, but they do have the power grid for the heavy industry and all of the supporting infrastructure. So these guys, first I think Facebook was one of the first tenants there with its data center in Luleå. Then Hydro 66 built its data center in Boden. They've got KNC Minder who mine bitcoins over there and who have I think at least 4 data centers already, and Fortlags who have a data center at the old military base. And yes, so the whole thing got acquired by 2 Swedish power providers who are already providing power to Facebook and the rest of those guys.
Right.
It's Vattenfall, which we know, and somebody called Skelftea Kraft.
Apologies for the pronunciation.
I can only apologize, yes.
Sounds right to me.
But Vattenfall is Sweden's largest electricity provider, and the fact that they're interested in data centers, they understand the data center market and they want to build more data centers there, but they want to expand the mission of the Node Pole. They're saying if you have anything that's, like energy intensive, go to this region, build your factories, and they're going to be taken care of. This comes at a time when the Swedish Parliament is due to vote in tax breaks for data centers on electricity, bringing Sweden in line with Norway and Finland, basically places where they started discounting electricity a long time ago.
Right, yes. I seem to remember sometime several months ago this came up, and we were expecting it to happen. They're pretty much celebrating it already having happened.
Yes,
so,
December apparently.
Oh, right, okay.
If you like cheap electricity, give these guys a call.
Excellent, good. I was interested by Facebook's new Open Compute switch. It's top of rack switch, and Facebook is known for designing network switches and then releasing these specifications through the Open Compute project, which it set up about 5 years ago for the purpose of sharing open source hardware, making things cheaper for data center builders and data center people putting kit into data centers. So there's a new switch. It's been built by Mellanox, designed by Facebook and presumably Mellanox telling them how to do a switch and getting involved. And simultaneously, it's already in use at Facebook, and it's being and the specifications have been released to the Open Compute project and approved as an open source project. And at the same time, Mellanox has a subsidiary called CoreSwitch, which is selling this as a general purpose switch for top rack applications for anybody to buy for their data centers. And what we heard about a year ago was Wedge 40, which was the 40 gigabyte version. This is the 100 gigabyte version, Wedge 100, with 32 ports, 32 100 gigabit per second ports, which can be broken down so you can get multiple ports into any of those at lower speeds. And all the software on it's also open source, so you can get that off GitHub and work with it, or just download it, get the versions of it which are bundled with the product when you buy it from CoreSwitch. Okay, that's all for me, and I'm feeling Sebastian ought to have some space lasers or something to talk about. Any space lasers this week?
Soon there'll be more space lasers. That's a little tease,
Yes.
and more space in general. So watch this space on my space. But instead, I have quantum computers.
Oh, quantum computers!
Yeah, quantum
Excellent.
computers.
Good.
And I'm sure Max will have a little rant on this because he has his own views on D-Wave. So D-Wave are the first quantum computer company, but they're kind of quantum computers. But they already sold quite a few things to the government. CIA was one of their investors. Now they've gone wholeheartedly formed D-Wave government, and they want to sell to the government. They've brought on this board of people from the NSA, CIA, Navy, Army, a guy who literally would sell HPCs to the government. And it's a big statement. We're here, and we want your money.
Yes, I mean, it has to be said that the CIA has previously invested heavily in telepathy, and hasn't it?
Oh right, the man was there at Goats.
Yes, that kind of thing. So they're
The men who stare at qubits. Yeah,
Yes.
they're
and you have a phrase for these qubits, don't you, Max?
Wow.
Are these the dirty qubits?
Oh yeah. That's not my phrase. It's the physicist I think said that. So basically, the issue is complicated by the fact that not everybody recognizes D-Wave computers as real quantum computers. They're saying they can't keep superposition for long enough. They can't actually do the real complex calculations, which would revolutionize computing. So when people talk about quantum, they talk about threat to cryptography and generally they talk a lot about security. So this is not it.
It solves one specific kind of problem, and it solves it sort of once.
Yeah, it's still potentially very useful, and potentially has a lot of power if it's used for the right things. On their website, they kind of heavily hint NSA. We want to search through metadata. We'll be good at that, but. The true quantum computers look to Google. It seems to be the one that has the edge at the moment, as far as quantum physicists believe. But this is an iteration process. If they start getting good government contracts, the money starts flowing in, they can hire more people, they can keep going, and maybe they do manage to get these qubits to stay qubits for longer.
Real qubits!
and whether they're real or not, there's certainly a lot of them.
Yes, so if Google do what they're thought to do, it would be a 50 qubit machine, and that's going to be really impressive, whereas D-Wave has 2,000, but they're worse. So, but 2,000 is still, a lot of qubits.
Yes, and then people haven't kicked up a fuss and given these machines back, right? People already bought them, like NASA,
NASA, Google, Lockheed Martin, and then what was interesting in this announcement was they kind of just referenced the fact that the Pentagon has been renting it out and using it, and they even talked about using it through the cloud, so they might put these into cloud systems, and then you don't want to buy a $15 million quantum machine when you don't know if it's going to be any good. Rent it out, try it out.
Quantum as a service?
Quantum as a service does exist.
What?
Yeah. Well, the researchers at Bristol made a quantum computer using optical technology. And their first generation of their optical qubit, which was kind of, I think, 1 qubit or a very small number of the order of 1. And a couple of years back, they did make that available online. So people would do their own quantum experiments with. Whether that's still there, I'm not sure, but it's certainly quantum as a service.
Until you check it, it's both.
Yeah, that's true. I'm good.
All right, and I think we're going to conclude with the news, which are going to make the residents of Chicago very, very happy. So, it's a massive networking hub in Chicago. 350 Cermak. It's a century-old building. I mean, it's been a carrier hotel for umpteen years. You know, like probably before I was born, there were some data centers already there. Right now, it's owned by Digital Realty, and for years, it's surrounded by other industrial buildings, and for years people have tried to work out a way to build a data center that could tap into 110 carriers that you have at 350 Cermak.
Yeah.
And now they found a company who's going to do it, and it's Digital Realty.
Oh,
so
shocker. Yes, what a surprise.
So Digital Realty with CBRE assisting on the project, and I think it's Centerpoint Properties actually own the land. And these three organizations are coming together to build a huge 12-story mega data center right opposite on the other side of the road. And the idea is, they don't know the final size, they're just scoping the market right now. They're looking for anchor tenants. But basically the site is cleared, shovel ready as they say. And once they get the signal, they're going to kick off construction about 18-24 months, and we have a new data center in Chicago, where apparently, demand is badly outstripping supply, and so the existing facility, 350 Cermak, has been 100% occupied for years.
All right, okay. Somewhere else to visit next time we're in town.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you for joining us. See you in the next White Space.
Bye.
Bye-bye.